Talofa everybody, my name is Bali Richard Wetzel. I'm the president of Samoa Apiculture Organisation. I also manage our family plantation on the big island of Savai. And I'm also a director of Samoa Apiculture Agricultural Supplies in Upolu. Both those companies have apiaries that I currently manage. Co-presenting with me is Umalo Clayton, who is also a fellow beekeeper. He also has a degree in business commerce and international human relations. If we have time, I'd like to invite my brother from another mother, Alosio, who recently returned from Samoa after spending 3 weeks up there sharing his knowledge with the organisation and its members. Yeah. I just want to share a bit of history on Samoa beekeeping. So it's believed in the late 1800s, 1860 to 1960, the early settlers and missionaries. Sorry, nerves are getting the better of me here. I don't usually hold a microphone unless I'm at the bar around 10 o'clock at night singing a song. Early settlers and missionaries brought domestic bees into Samoa. These are believed to be the European black bee. It wasn't until '63 the first Italian bees were imported into Samoa. This continued until about '78 when the first endeavours into commercial beekeeping took place, and they managed to build colonies up to about 900 colonies before winding up the business in '83. 85 new investors were found, and they took over from the previous company, starting with about 480 hives. And taking it through to about 1,800 in a space of 4 years. In the early 80s, I forgot to mention, around 1980 was the first export of honey through to Europe from the first company that went through. Went up to 1,800 before the second company was abandoned in '89. For reasons unknown to me. 1990-91 saw Samoa devastated by Cyclone Ofa and Val. Whilst it devastated the country, it also devastated our bee colonies. See this line graph here. Each time we had a decline in numbers, it was due to an event. In the 80s, it was either due to a key member of the company resigning and leaving the country, or a death of an experienced beekeeper. And then in the 1990s, the cyclone devastating our industry. Not all was lost. About 60 hives were salvaged after the cyclone. And then in the mid-90s through to the current day, various attempts have been made with mixed results to try and return Samoa to its former glory of the late 80s. This is a snapshot of the membership of the new organisation. The organisation was only registered last year after a request or a direct direction from our Minister of Agriculture to get our house in order. That funding was available and we needed to do something with beekeeping. So the question is where to from here for Samoa apiculture. Thank you for that. I'll pass over to for Clayton for his story or his journey of beekeeping in Samoa. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Pali. Hello to my brothers and sisters from different islands. As mentioned by Pali, I am a young beekeeper from Samoa. My name is Umalo Clayton Simau. So I'll just be touching base on my experience out on the field, what I was able to bring into our organization, and actually here to learn. As we mentioned on this whole Congress, it's not for us to come show off what Samoa has. It's what we're showing, what issues we have, and how we could rely on the shoulders of our brothers and sisters from different islands, how it could help us take that graph back up. As you saw, it was a bit of a jumperline, up, down, up, down. Now we want to go back up and never come back down. So yes, similar to Fiji, the original honeybee that was brought to Samoa was the Western European bee, and then it was found out to its temperament. It was a bit aggressive. It doesn't work well with Samoan beekeepers because Samoan beekeepers also have anger issues. Not saying we're not, but yes, we're really friendly people, but when give up with the black honeybee, it has its risks. So then we turn, just like Fiji, turn to our yellow Italian bee that we're trying to work with. It also would promote beekeeping in Samoa if we have really calm bees. So the stats that we got from Samoa, as you see in the earlier graph that was presented, right now we have about 21 to 30 beekeepers in all of Samoa. From a population of 200,000, and we have only about 30 beekeepers, it is not a really good stat. So that's why I have my friend Pali Richard. That'll be his main task, is boost those numbers up. The last figures we had, back in 2009, we had figures supporting that of 8 tons of honey. And if you look at Fiji, 344, and we're only producing 8 tons, it makes Samoa look like peanuts. So with, we're now even in a worse state, we're under 4 tons. So it's, as mentioned by our president, get our house together, get back to the drawing board, build the foundation, and take those numbers up. So as you're aware, in Samoa regulations, we cannot import honey. So any honey products cannot be imported into our country under the Order of 99. So if you believe that honey cannot be imported, so you as a business owner in Samoa, there will always be a scarce, or there will be a really limited number of honey available in our islands. We can't order from overseas, so we have to rely on our local beekeepers to boost these numbers up. And then we haven't even got to our added value products. So this is a graph, or a picture, or mapping of our urban area. Majority of these hives, if you look on top, they were all around the urban area. And when cyclones happen, urbanization, a lot of these hives was destroyed over the years. So what has now been done is, as you looked on the far graph, so Samoa is made up of 2 islands. The main island is Upolu, where I'm from, and then Savai, where my president's from. So a lot of beekeepers are now trying to shift their beehives or apiaries from the main island to Savai. Why? Because Savai has more flora and obviously less human interactions. So there is more honey flow that we get from Savai than actually from Upolu, because this is a good example of it. Urbanization and the many damages that we have caused to our hives over the years. So as I mentioned, we're not going to be talking about benefits of beekeeping in Samoa. I'm going to be raising the issues that we're facing. These are the issues that our team and all the local stakeholders in Samoa is trying to resolve. First thing is shortage of bee colonies. There is no certified queen rearing in Samoa. So how we rely on getting bees is wild feral bees, walk-away splits, but there hasn't been an opportunity for us to really focus on queen rearing, so green breeding. So this Congress has allowed me to attain that knowledge. Climate change. As mentioned, all of us has been through this issue. Lack of resources, usage of pesticides, and all the different chemicals that's impacting our environment. Then shortage of knowledge and training in the local market. I envy Fiji. The presentation by Chuck, there's available training. In Samoa, sometimes Richard will ask me, can I do the training? I'm only 31 years old, and I can't be doing a training for a lot of beekeepers who are in the industry way ahead of me. So I'd say, let's look outside of the country. Let's go to Fiji. What do they have? Let's look at Vanuatu, Solomons. Let's ask them for help, because this is the whole purpose of us trying to revive the industry in our island. If we don't have the resource, let's look out for our brothers and sisters to help us out. Pests, so Samoa, the only pest that we face is wax moth, ants, and termites. The only major honey disease that we have is AFB. There's no testing on vermites. We don't have European foul brood. Because of our strict laws, we are safeguarded. But I remember when I was talking to Richard, So we're now at the state of if Verma mites will get to Samoa, it's now a case of when it will get to Samoa. So we're now working of trying to be proactive. Look at what can we do to protect and safeguard our industry before it will arrive to our country. And then lastly, deforestation. A lot of farmers in Samoa, commercial farmers, deforestation is an issue. So when we tell them, hey, can we have our hives on your site? They said yes, but by the time we come there, they've already cut down the key plants and key trees that we need to assist our bees when we are about to work with them on giving our hives over to their farms. So in Samoa, best time to start beekeeping is from May to October, but it doesn't vary now. Climate change has made it really unpredictable, I mean. So when we were about to leave Samoa, we were talking, oh, this should be the best time to start beekeeping, doing our splits, working on our honey flow. However, when we came, it was raining from Monday to Friday, and we boarded the plane on Saturday. We were worried in case our flight got canceled. Thank God we're still here. And then lastly, how do we get colonies? So getting colonies is, we do it the island way, where I call up Richard, hey, can I borrow one of your hives? I will never return it. Or I do splits. That's another way. We're doing splits, doing feral bees. So those are some of the pictures of us having people call us, can I have a colony? And when no means no, they said, okay, I'll call your mom and auntie. Then by then they'll get to me and say, all right, we'll get you some colonies, but I have to get the feral bees. But in Samoa, it's the whole borrow, never return, which works for us right now. So Richard has already talked a word from here. From us, we want to conclude our presentation. We want to acknowledge the godfather of beekeeping in Samoa. So Mr. Lester Dean, he was there from the 1980s, 1990s, the golden era of beekeeping. Fortunately, he couldn't travel with us. He's one of the old school beekeepers. So from him, I was lucky enough to get my knowledge, be mentored under him. And then these are the beekeepers that Samoa is trying to hold on to, because once this knowledge and their skills and talent with them goes, we will really struggle, in all honesty. We also wanted to acknowledge and say thank you to our brother Aloisio. I'm pretty sure he's here. He came, and then he shared a lot of his knowledge that helped us out. And that's where we came up with the strategic plan. Look elsewhere, reach to the region, because they will have the answer and solution to our problems, because we locals may think we know everything, but it's only limited to our capacity. I will now hand it over to Richard to finish off our presentation from Samoa. Thank you.
Malo. Maybe before I finish, Aloisio, would you like to come up? And I know you're hiding back there, but come and share some of your experiences of being in paradise.
Bulanaka, I want to say thank you to Richard and the team for taking me to Samoa. To give them a hand. And the first thing I found out that the queen bees in Samoa are very good. No, the queen bees, the real queen bees. So the only thing I can add on here is the disease that I found. But the disease I found is curable. It's a lack of knowledge. And I think when I heard people talking in front, maybe in the Pacific, that's what's happening. And I just want to thank the Fiji beekeepers, because that's where we are in front. The knowledge that we have in Fiji beekeepers is awesome. And I hope we can help other farmers, other islands. Nak.
Thank you.